Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to everyone. I'm Nora Shikin M. Tamrin from the Faculty of Electrical Engineering, University Technology Mara. And today I would like to present my sharing on the academic writing, Untangle the process with tips and writing tools. Academic writing has always had a central role in the academics arena globally. Academic writing serves as a tool of communication that conveys acquired knowledge in a specific field of study. In higher institutions of learning, it can be difficult for some students, lecturers, and researchers to explain what they know, especially on complex subjects if they are poor in academic writing, specifically in English writing. Writing and essays will allow them to explain what they understand and know by using the correct phrases and styles and make the information understood by others. Academic writing can be essays, research papers and journals, research proposal, thesis or dissertation, as well as literature review. Here are some tips on academic writing. They are: the academic writing must be formal and unbiased. It must be clear and precise, focused and well structured, well sourced, and correct and consistent. So, we will look into these tips individually. Different fields of study have different priorities in terms of the writing they produce. For example, in scientific writings, it is crucial to clearly and accurately report methods and results. The focus is on constructing convincing arguments through the use of work evidences. However, all academic writing shares certain key principles intended to help convey information as effectively as possible. Academic writing aims to convey information in an impartial way. Okay, and then these all claims in the article should be supported with relevant evidence, not just asserted. To avoid bias, it is important to represent the results of your work and other researchers fairly and accurately. So this means clearly outlining your methodology and being honest about the limitations of your research. Because of this, it is very important to use the right tone with your language choices. Avoid informal language, including slang, contraction, cliches, and conventional phrases. It is important to use clear and precise language to ensure that your reader knows exactly what you mean. This means being as specific as possible and avoiding vague language. Avoid hedging your claims with the words like perhaps, because this word can give the impression that you lack confidence in your arguments. Reflect on your word choice to ensure it is accurately and directly conveys your meaning. Okay, for example, for this sentence, this could perhaps suggest that. Okay, instead of using perhaps in that sentence, you actually can use another sentence which just this suggested. Okay, exclude perhaps in your sentence because it will show to the reader that you are not confident enough with your work in that article. Specialist language or jargon. Okay, jargon should be used to make your writing more concise and accurate, not to make it more complicated. A specialist term should be used when you convey information more precisely than a comparable non-specialist term. Okay, and then your reader is likely to be familiar with the term, and the term is commonly used by other researchers in the same field as yours. So the best way to familiarize yourself with this kind of jargon used in your field is to read papers by other researchers and pay attention to the language and terms that they are used in their article. An academic text is not just a collection of ideas about topic. Okay, it needs to have a clear purpose. So, start with a relevant research question or thesis statement and then use it to develop a focused argument. You have to only include information that is relevant to your work or to your overall purpose. A coherent structure is crucial to organize your ideas. So please pay attention to your structure at these three levels of structure. The structure of the whole text, which is the overall structure, paragraph structure, and sentence structure. In the overall structure, always include an introduction and a conclusion to your article. And then if you have a longer text or paragraph, you can actually divide it into chapters and sections with a clear headings, so that your reader can get a clearer view on your articles or on what you are discussing. And then please make sure that information is presented in a logical order. Okay, and then in the paragraph structure, you have to start the new paragraph with your idea. Okay, when you move to a new paragraph, you must move on to a new idea. Okay, do not discuss the same idea in a different paragraph. Use a topic sentence at the start of each paragraph to indicate what it's about and make clear transition between the paragraph. Okay. Make sure that every paragraph is relevant to your argument or question. So make sure that you are discussing the only topic that you are discussing in the article. Okay? You have to be focused. And then the sentence structure. You can use the transition words to express the connections between different ideas within and between sentences. Okay, you cannot jump from one sentence to another sentence without any connection between these two sentences, because you are going to leave your readers hanging in that sentence, okay, without any further explanation. And then you have to use appropriate punctuation to avoid sentence fragments or run-on sentences. Use a variety of sentence lengths and structures. So academic writing must use sources to support the claims that you have made in your article. The sources can be the text, okay, which are from the journal or papers or proceeding papers, or manuscripts or thesis, or maybe it is a media objects like photographs or films that the author analyzes or uses them as evidence. So please bear in your mind that the academic writing is collaborative and builds on previous research. Okay, so normally we are going to cite other people's work that is related to ours. So it is also important to consider which sources are credible and appropriate to use in academic writing. Okay, so do not rely on the websites for information, for example, like citing from the Wikipedia, or use any websites, online websites, to cite the work. Okay, it is better if you are using the academic databases such as IEEE Law, Scopus, Sage, and your university library to find the credible sources. Okay, because sometimes we can see a lot of people are citing from the website, which is not a good, or which is not credible for your article, for your academic article writing. So please look into these databases, okay, for your references. So you must always cite your sources in academic writing. This means acknowledging whenever you quote or paraphrase someone else's work by including a citation in the text and a reference list at the end. So there are many different citation styles with different rules. Okay, the most common styles are APA, MLA, Chicago, IEEE, CSE, okay, and others. Make sure to consistently follow whatever style your institution requires. If you don't cite correctly, you may get in trouble for plagiarism. It is important for you to consistently apply stylistic conventions regarding, for example, the rules of grammar, punctuation, and citation. For example, like how to write numbers, so make sure you write the same style numbers throughout your article. How do you introduce your abbreviations? Make sure that you introduce it once in your article and then you can start using the abbreviation later. Okay, do not reintroduce it in your article. And then using verb tenses in different sections, capitalization of terms and headings. Please follow the rules that have been set up by the institution or any journals or conferences. Spelling and punctuations differences, okay, between UK and US English. So please make sure that you are using only one version of English in your article. Do not mix them up. In some cases, you need to carefully proofread your text before you do any submission. Okay, not just apply to some cases, but to all cases actually. So here are some tips on the academic writing. Avoid second person pronoun you. Academic writing generally tries to avoid being too personal. Most part the text or article should focus on the research itself, not the author. Always avoid addressing the reader directly with a second person pronoun. For example, you. Use the impersonal pronoun one, okay, or an alternate phrasing instead of generalizations. For example, in this sentence, as a teacher, you must treat your students fairly. So in that sentence, it is using a second person pronoun. Okay, instead, you can just omit that second person pronoun and you can just rewrite the sentence by teachers must treat their students fairly instead of using you or your. Okay, we can just straight away use the impersonal pronoun. Many of us think that our writing is not academic enough if unless it is over complicated and long-winded. Okay, so this is not a good approach actually. Instead, aim to be as concise and direct as possible. If a term can be cut or replaced with a more straightforward one without affecting your meaning, it should be. Avoid redundant phrasings in your text. Avoid redundant sentences. Okay, and try replacing phrasal verbs with their one-word equivalent where possible. For example, the word carry on is actually can be replaced by the word continue. So it is important to avoid unnecessary repetition, okay, because repetition is boring. Make sure that none of your sentences are repeating at a point you have already made in different words or different paragraph. And then avoid emotive and grandiose. An academic text is not the same thing as a literary, journalistic, or marketing text. Though you are still trying to be persuasive, a lot of techniques from these styles are not appropriate in an academic context. Specifically, you should avoid appeals to emotion and inflated claims. Though you may be writing about a topic that is sensitive or important to you, the point of academic writing is to clearly communicate the ideas, information, and arguments, not to inspire an emotional response. Okay? Avoid using emotive or subjective language in your text. We are sometimes tempted to make the case for our topic with exaggerated. So sometimes we do some unsupported claims and we use a lot of flowery language. So please stick to specific grounded arguments that we can support with evidence and do not overstate our point. Here is the academic writing checklist. This is just a guideline for you to write a good article, okay, with a good writing technique. Avoid informal terms and contractions. Present information as precisely and accurately as possible. Do not use unnecessary jargon and define terms where necessary. Every part of the text relates to the main argument or question. Use appropriate transition between sentences. Begin each paragraph with a topic sentence. Follow style guidelines consistently. Avoid using you. Avoid redundant words and phrases. Avoid emotive or exaggerated language. Support your claims with evidence. And lastly, the most important thing is to cite your sources. So in this sharing, I would like to emphasize on the writing tools that you can use or you can focus, okay, while you are writing your article. So the writing tools will focus on the literature review or the summarization of the literature review, the language, sentences or rephrasing, writing idea, and plagiarism. So there are 5 tools actually that we can use to help us in writing our academic writing. The first one is by using the article summarizer, then the academic phrase bank, paraphrasing tool, language checker, and plagiarism checker. So in the article summarizer, okay, normally the academic writing requires you to research the work of other scholars or other researchers, and then you have to develop your own ideas based on the topic of your research. Okay, and then to think about how your ideas relate to the scholarship that you have researched or relate to the journal or papers that you have read. Okay, so in this case you have to summarize those articles, and then this summarizing process is not an easy task. Okay, in normal practice, normally we always skim through the article first to find the main idea of that article, and then we always read it again before we will always reread it before highlighting or jotting down any necessary points. And then these processes are tiresome. Okay, sometimes the article is not what we are looking for, even it uses a similar keyword, right? But with the AI technologies, there are many summarizer tools available or offered online. So we just need to pick the right one that suits our needs. This tool is really come in handy as it will speed up the investigation process. For example, like SMMRY, Auto Summarizer, Resumer, Simplify, and Scholar-C. So in this sharing, I will browse through the Scholar-C for your reference. So this is Scholar-C, okay? So their tagline is read less and learn more. So in this case, okay, once you have installed the extension in your Chrome, for example, you are going to see this icon, which is referred to the Scholar-C icon. So when you click on this icon, so the Scholar-C window will pop up. If you don't have any account, you cannot save your database from this Scholar-C, but you can still use their free feature. Okay, as I have the login details, so I will log into my account. Okay, you can use the Scholar-C. Okay, you can choose a file here. For example, I pick one literature review. So you can see here, the Scholar-C has summarized, okay, this paper. So it has, they highlights the important point in this paper. Okay, so I can just read the highlight sentence, and then they also do the summarize. They also summarize the highlights of this paper. Okay, it will summarize it for you. So maybe some of the details have been left out in Scholar-C. So only then, after you find out that this paper is really matched with your field, so only then you can do the thorough reading for that article. So it can save your time, okay, and then it can give you some brief idea on what has been told by this paper or has been highlighted in this article. So this is one type of summarization tool, which is, I think, very useful when you are trying to write your article, because normally we are going to write the article by looking or by referring to previous researchers' work. The next tool is academic phrase bank. So academic phrase bank is normally general resources for the academic writers. It usually presents lists of frequently used phrases that are general acceptance in all disciplines that you can use in specific sections of your paper, but you have to use it wisely. Okay, meaning that it just provides you some basic phrases or basic sentence, so you need to adjust it according to your article or according to your subject. So there are few phrase bank that is available in the online. So in my case, I always use the Manchester phrase bank, or currently we have tools that we can add in our Microsoft Word. So the program that we can add is the Ref and Write. So I will show you how this Ref and Write help me in building my article or in writing my article. This is the academic phrase bank, which has been established by the University of Manchester. So you can see here there are a lot of idea that you can use. For example, okay, let's say you want to introduce your work. Okay, so there are few functions here that can be chosen. Okay, you can, for example, like when you want to compare and contrast between two methods, for example. Okay, so this is the example of sentences that you can choose and then try to match with your subject. So this is just a general sentence that is actually free from plagiarism, that everyone can use it. Okay, for example, in your methodology, so there are few functions in that methodology that can be chosen. Okay, so you can look into this website, okay, to find the academic phrase bank, and you can choose which academic phrase bank that you want to use in your sentences. Or maybe you have no idea how to start your sentence, so maybe you can look into this source. Secondly is by installing the Ref and Write in your Microsoft Word. Okay, in this case you have to purchase these apps. Okay, and then once you have purchased it, you can download it and install it in your Microsoft Word. If you install the Ref and Write in your computer, it will append to your Microsoft Word, and then when you open your Microsoft Word app, so you can see the Ref and Write menu here. So when you click on it, so there are few sub menus that you can use. It already have an installed academic phrase bank here. Okay, so these are the things that you can choose to start your writing. Okay, so this is my blank canvas or blank file. So maybe you want to have to highlight the importance topic that you are going to discuss in your article. So these are few example how to start your writing. Okay. So by using the Ref and Write, it is actually can accelerate your writing, and then you can actually after the scholarly, okay, and then the Ref and Write. So hopefully that you can speed up your writing time. So this is very useful software that can you use during your writing. The next tool is paraphrasing tool. Sometimes when we read the article, we like some of the content or paragraph or sentence in that paper or journal, and then we want to paraphrase it or restate it with our own word, and we want to put it into our paper. Although it is not illegal, but paraphrasing in scholarly papers must be cited as a professional courtesy. Okay, and therefore these paraphrasing tools, it will help you to change the structure of your sentence by not changing the whole meaning. Okay, so example of paraphrasing tool that is available, for example, like Quillbot, Grammarly Content Professor. I will show you the Quillbot paraphrasing tool as I'm using it currently. Okay, so you can try it online, or you can add it to your Microsoft Word. Okay, if let's say you don't want to extend it with your Microsoft Word, you can do it online. If you would like to have it in your Microsoft Word, so you can download the extension. Okay. Okay, let's say I would like to quill this paragraph. So I just copy here. Okay, and then there's a few modes can choose. Okay, you can choose either standard, fluency, creative, subjective, concision. Okay, but there are some pros and cons when you choose this certain mode. For example, like fluency, it will improve fluency and fixes grammatical mistake. If you choose the creative mode, the changes of the sentence the most, but it also the most likely to make errors. Okay, so in my case, I would like to use the standard one. So we quill it. Okay, so the process has completed. So you can read your new sentence here. Okay, and then you see, if you read and then this new phrases or these new sentences suit the need of your article, you can copy it. Or maybe after the quillboard has quilled your sentence, maybe you need to reread it and to re-sentence it on your own, okay, to make it more perfect. So this tool is actually really useful is if you would like to rephrase the sentence that coming from your literature review. So this is very helpful, and then you can write your literature review a little bit faster, okay, and then at the same time you can actually look after the grammar mistakes, okay, because it will reduce the grammar mistake if you're choosing the standard mode or the fluency mode. Okay, so maybe you can try this quillbot. The next tool that is useful is the language checker. So this is very important, okay, because proofreading, you cannot ignore the proofreading, because normally when we are writing our article, we are often ignorant or careless or blind to our own errors, okay, mistakes and grammar, poor layout of sentences and paragraphs, poorly constructed sentences, lack of incorrect use of proper punctuation, and of course spelling or typing errors. So do not submit your article without proofread it, okay, and then make it easy for our readers to understand the content of our article, as the grammar errors can cause readers to lose interest while reading the articles, okay. So please don't give headache to your readers and especially to your supervisor. And then using the language checker can also improve our writing skill, as we learn gradually from the mistake that we have made while we are writing. Okay, so some example of available language checker is Grammarly, White Smoke, and Ginger software. So the Grammarly and Ginger software, you can do it online, or if you would like to append it to your Microsoft Word, you can use Grammarly or White Smoke. Okay. This is an example of the Grammarly software that I have been used in helping me reduce my grammatical error in my article. So this is the example. As I have purchased the full premium of Grammarly, so I will have all of this function to help me to improve my English writing style, okay, and then also improve my English writing in terms of grammar. The final step before we submit our article, it doesn't matter if you are going to submit our proposal or thesis to our supervisor, okay, to the institutions, the first thing we need to do is plagiarism checker. Okay, we need to check whether the percentage of the article that have similar sentences with other related papers or databases available. So why does it matter? Because it is wrong to steal others' work and idea. Okay, because ideas are people's work, they are researched, developed, and crafted. Okay, the reason why plagiarism matters is because it is about the working methods of a writer, and if their ideas are stolen, that is a problem. Okay, and then it is also important to write it in your own words, and so that you also can contribute something new to the society. Rephrasing other people's work is not wrong, okay, if you cite their work in your article. The original work demonstrates scholarly and academic integrity. So there are few plagiarism checkers available. You can use Turnitin, Grammarly, or plagiarism software or others. Please bear in your mind that you need to check the similarity of your article with others. To conclude my sharing for today, I would like to emphasize on the do's and don'ts in the academic writing. Okay, please follow all the writing skills, all the writing checklist that has been presented earlier. And then maybe you need to use the writing tools, okay, if you find it useful for your writing, during your article writing, which will help to improve your writing skill indirectly. But you have to use those software wisely and intelligently. And then lastly, please, okay, a big please, before you do any submission, regardless to conference, to journal, or maybe to your supervisor, please proofread your article first, okay, because your article, the way you write it, shows the level of your scholarship. So, happy writing, and you are wiser than what you think. And keep writing. Thank you.